Hi, welcome to today's edition of Shalom, Ottawa. I am your host for today, Reuben Friedman. Your regular host, you'll be glad to hear, Benita Semyatiki, will be back next month. But today, we have a very interesting show. And I want to start off with something that concerns everybody in the community. It's the Walkathon for Jewish Education. And our guest is Mitch Miller and Elizabeth Greenberg. We'll be having another student in later during the interview. But to start things off, Mitch, can you tell me a little bit about the Walkathon? What is it? Where does it come from?
Sure. Well, the Walkathon has been a part of our community for over 40 years. And traditionally, it's raised funds for the Jewish Federation. Over the last few years, with a lot of things changing and I think iPads and everything else just sort of coming into play, that the interest has sort of changed a bit, and the attendance at Walkathon started to drop off. So we had a new idea where all the funds raised would now go, as you pointed out, to Jewish education. So every Jewish school in Ottawa that is recognized by the Federation is invited to participate, and by participating, every cent that their students or families raise in pledges goes to their school. And we have 12 schools that are participating.
What's the range of schools among these 12?
Well, it ranges actually from the very religious to the religious in a different way, maybe. I'm not sure the best way to say it, but we have a wide range of schools, and also small afternoon schools to the full first day schools. Like Elizabeth is here today, and Dalia, who represent the Ottawa Jewish Community School, and we're excited that they're a part of the day and a part of helping to organize and fundraise for the day.
What kind of things will these funds help do?
Well, it's actually up to each school as to what they want to earmark the funds for. As the Walkathon committee, we don't dictate what they have to do. We are not educators. Some days I'm not even sure if we're fundraisers, but certainly we are fundraisers. So one thing we've changed in the Walkathon, which is I think helped a lot with the spirit last year, and I think has us off to a great start already this year, is that we changed it from that 10K walk that everyone used to do. I know I used to walk with Elizabeth's father years ago in the Walkathon, and it's nice to see her and my daughter Dalia participating now. But we've changed it to more of a walk-run idea. So each participant will actually get their own personalized race bib. Every young person or young at heart who crosses the finish line will get a race medal. There are timing chips. So if you're into that more competitive race aspect, you can actually time yourself on the 1 or 3K race. If you want to just walk it, you're welcome to do so as well.
There have been concerns about security on walkathons in the past. How are you dealing with that this year?
Good question. Certainly with any program in our community, there are always concerns about security. The nice thing is that we actually, with the new route, the 1 and 3K route, we actually stay close to home, close to our Jewish community campus. We don't cross for Carling anymore, so we don't have the security issue of crossing a major street. But the other thing is, as we did last year, is we actually have a team of Ottawa police officers who are on site to help with traffic control. And in the back of their mind, they're also there for any other needs that might come up. Thankfully, last year, as with every other walkathon I remember, they've been there to pose for some pictures and have a nosh with us after.
That's great. Thank you, Mitch. Elizabeth, why are you participating in the Walkathon? What do you find important in it?
It's really an important event just for us kids because it's a great day just to get out and get some fresh air and raise money for our school, and also you just get to hang out with your friends. We walk, we sometimes get a little competitive and we run with the timing chip. But yeah, it's a day to get out and help our school.
And what do you think is important about Jewish education for you?
To me, it's important about learning our roots, because once we know our roots, we can evolve in the Jewish community, and once we get older, we can really become active participants in the community if we know where our roots are.
Thank you very much. Hi, welcome back again. We have a new student with us now, Dahlia Miller, who is going to also participate in this little chat on the Walkathon for Jewish Education. So I have a question for you. It's a really hard question. What grade are you in?
I'm in grade 5.
And what do you know about the Walkathon? Why are you involved with it?
Well, I'm involved in the Walkathon because it's a good reason to raise money for our school, and all our friends can come out and we can run and have fun. And also because my dad's the chair, so I don't really have a choice.
Oh, I see. But I'm sure you'll enjoy it anyway, don't you think?
Yeah.
Even if he is your dad. How about your friends? Are they participating as well?
Yes, our whole class actually signed up for the Walkathon.
Oh, that's really good. And how has the response been so far, Mitchell?
It's been great. Actually, last year, as I said, we kind of changed the route so that it's now that sort of run-walk idea. And we were a bit concerned at first how the community might react. We had 500 people who participated last year. We're on track to be there again. We still haven't changed the culture yet that everyone can sign up online early. Everyone is still accustomed to showing up on race day.
Yes.
But we have a website that we started last year where everyone can sign up online. They can get their pledges online, and it just makes it easier to fundraise as well as to participate. And it's been great having all these students. We might say the younger people coming out, but it's great when they're there and they're full of energy. And after the race, a 1K and 3K doesn't take very long if you're running, but there's the Fergus Lee Family Fun Zone right after. So we have all these things happening for entertainment, and then there's, of course, you don't have a Jewish event without food. So there's a David Smith catered lunch, that's brunch, that'll be on after. So there's a lot of things going on that morning.
Is there, you mentioned entertainment?
Well, there is some entertainment, there's some music. We also have face painters and balloon people, and for this year we're trying to reach out to that older grade, like we had Elizabeth here before, and some people a couple of grades older, where I think we're also having to look at perhaps having some sort of those professional dance teachers that you might see at a bar or a bat mitzvah who come out to get the crowd going. So we're looking at a few other things just to keep that, so that sort of in between for generation, to have them being more involved and active and want to play a role.
And you mentioned a website. This is a website for information, for signing up?
Has everything on it. It's actually, it's easy to remember. It's www.amechadwalkrun.com. From there you can register. There's the frequently asked questions about how things work on race day. We have the list of all the schools with their links who will benefit. We also have a history page, and a very special thank you to our Jewish Archives, Ottawa Jewish Archives, for supplying us with some photos. So you can see some pictures, let's say, of Cantor Aptowitzer, who's been walking for over 40 years, and others who may still be with us, and those who unfortunately aren't. You can see some of the old photos where the race may have started at Agudath Israel or other places throughout the community. It's wonderful to see.
That's great. I'm just wondering if you wouldn't mind repeating the website for for all our viewers.
Sure. It's www.amechad.walkrun. That's all one word. AMECHAD walkrun.com, and the event will be on June 10th, Sunday, June 10th, in the morning. So it's a week before Father's Day, so everyone has lots of time.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much, Mitch, for coming out, and thanks to the students for participating.
Our pleasure.
I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Talk to you again. Welcome back. In this segment, we have an interesting topic, which is Yiddish in Ottawa, and specifically the 10th anniversary of the Yiddish Volksspieler of the SJCC. Our guests are David Michaelson, who I always call Michael Davidson for some reason,
He loves me.
and Ander Moss. So both of these are players in the production this year. I'd like to start with you, David. Can you tell me a little bit what the production this year is about?
Well, the production this year is made up of skits from our last 9 performances. We started, well, the group itself was organized in 2002. We had our first show in 2003, and it's gone on from there.
And I'm wondering if we could get a close-up of the poster, if that's possible, because that's going to give the basic information. I think. Where's the play going to take place?
It's going to take place at the SJCC, the Jewish Community Center, Sunday, June 17th, 2012, at 2 in the afternoon.
Well, that's wonderful. What's the admission, David?
The admission is $10 for adults, and if you can sneak in your kids, I don't know.
And what else? I think there's going to be something else in addition to the performance. Is that right?
Oh yes, there is going to be a reception afterwards in honor of the fact that this performance will celebrate our 10th year in existence.
And Ander, if I can
Hi.
practice my Yiddish on you a little bit. Welche Rolle wirst du spielen?
Ich spiel Mottel, a Jungel, was hat Zurres mit den Reben.
So you are playing Mottel, a youth who is having trouble with his rabbi.
Oh yes.
Huh, that's too bad. What's the nature of your interaction? Do you talk to the rabbi or to someone else?
Well, backstage we suppose that the rabbi has been talking to my father. But I speak to my father, who the rabbi has told that I make trouble and prevent the children from learning. But my side of the story is that he whips me for no reason, even while he's singing a song.
And what does your father say to that?
Well, he secretly is on my side because he knows that Rebbe.
Yes.
But he wants to straighten me out, of course, also.
So he's also trying to give you moral guidance at the same time.
I suppose so.
How did you get involved in this?
Well, a few years ago, somebody brought my mother into the company. And the next year, my father and I joined as well. And this will be my 3rd production.
You better watch out. I think we're going to... do you have cousins? I mean, they might end up being in the production as well.
Yeah.
So it's a family affair.
Yes.
And is there something special that you like about Yiddish or about being in the production?
Well, I like theater very much, and I've been doing theater. And as well, I like Yiddish. I have an attachment to Yiddish. I'm also learning Yiddish outside and inside. When I joined the play, none of my whole family spoke any Yiddish at all.
But now it's improving.
It's improving.
So what grade are you in now? Grade 1, grade 2?
Oh, in Yiddish, I'm nearing the end of grade 1.
A good beginner. So coming back to you, David, how did you get involved in the production?
Because of Shirley Steinberg. Before she started the Volksspieler, she was running a folk singing class at the JCC, and I'm interested in folk music, so I joined that. And then when she started the Folkspieler, so I decided to go along. Shirley is a very interesting person.
I guess she's persuasive too, since she's gotten so many people to.
She's persuasive. She's the chief writer and the director and the chief producer. I don't know about bottle washing, but
We'll leave that. What about yourself? I understand that you've been involved in some writing as well.
well, ever since I was a kid, I said I thought I would become a writer when I grow up. However, I'm still waiting to grow up, so I haven't become a writer yet.
But I hope you're making progress.
Well, yes. Well, I am in a creative writing group, and incidentally, both you and I have helped Shirley write scenes for the Volksspieler.
That's true. I remember that. Now that you remind me.
Yes.
The main thing is that it should be fun.
Yes, it definitely is fun. I don't know about you, but I must be something of a show-off, so I enjoy this.
Were you ever in productions before this, in other theater or shows?
Only when I was a teenager. I was a member of the Hashomer Hatzair,
Yes.
and they had an annual show, so I tried to act in that and to sing in their choir and so on. But I didn't do any theater from the time I was a teenager until I got involved with Shirley and her Volksspieler.
Now, one of the biggest questions in Yiddish, of course, is always, what kind of Yiddish do you speak? Right?
It's a brachde Yiddish.
Uh-huh.
In other words, I learned Yiddish from my Polish-born parents who wanted my brother and myself to learn Yiddish. So most of what I know about Yiddish, I learned from them. Now, I've never really studied it in school, so my Yiddish is quite, I would say, quite basic.
So, Litvish or Polish?
A bissel van beide. My mother was a Polisher and my father was a Litvak. And how they ever remained married, I don't know.
And what about you, Ander? Do you have an idea of what difference we're talking about?
Yes, I generally speak Litvish, but
Nobody's perfect.
I play right now I'm playing opposite Shirley Steinberg, the director. She's my father, and I kind of have to match, or it would not turn out convincing.
So if you could tell me once again what the date of the show is.
Yes, Sunday, June 17, 2012 at 2 p.m. at the SJCC.
And I have some information on that. If you want further information on this show, you should contact Roz Wallach at 613-798-4696. Do you have the extension there?
254.
Extension 254.
The phone number I have here is 798-9818.
That's also good. Both numbers will get you at the same to the same place. 798
9818.
9818.
Extension 254.
Extension 254. Thank you very much, both of you, for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
A guten Tag.
A guten Tag und a guten Schlittwegs.
Hello again. I have a very interesting guest for us. You know, a lot of people work in the Jewish community and we don't often get to know them very well. Well, I have here today the editor of the Ottawa Jewish Bulletin, who is worthy of being known a little bit better. So welcome, Michael Regenstrief, to Shalom, Ottawa.
Thank you for inviting me, Ruben.
It's a pleasure. Maybe you can start off by telling us just a little bit about the Ottawa Jewish Bulletin itself.
Well, the Bulletin is the community newspaper of Ottawa's Jewish community. We've been around for 75 years as of this year. I've been around for almost 5 of those 75 years.
That's already a good percentage.
Yeah. And it's just generally Ottawa's community newspaper, Jewish community newspaper.
Is there a place where people could subscribe to this if they don't already?
You can do it online at ottawajewishbulletin.com. Ottawa Jewish Bulletin is just all one word and then .com, and the subscription link is right there.
And how many times a year does it publish?
We publish 19 times a year, which is twice a month most months, and then we go to once a month in December, January, and June, July, August.
Thank you. And I want to ask you now a little bit about your own background, because I was fascinated to learn about your own experience and background in music and folk music. Weren't you the host of a radio show at one point?
I was invited by CKUT, which is the radio station, the community radio station out of McGill University in Montreal. In late 1993, they called me and said they were looking to have a folk music program, and was I interested in doing one? And I said, yeah, it's something I'd like to do. And I thought it would last a year or two, and it ended up lasting 14 years, almost 14 years, until I came to Ottawa to work at the Bulletin.
And how would people have known that you were interested in folk music? Obviously, they must have been suspicious.
Yeah, well, I had a kind of a long history in Montreal and elsewhere as an organizer in the folk music community, producing concerts, running coffee houses, and I had a media presence for many years as a music critic for the Montreal Gazette and for Sing Out magazine in the U.S., which is I guess the most famous and long-lasting folk music magazine. It was started back in 1950 by Pete Seeger and is still going strong more than 60 years later.
How did you get involved in folk music? What interested you about it?
I always liked music as a kid growing up, and my parents, it's kind of a long, convoluted story. My parents were from Montreal and moved out west after they got married, and I was born in Calgary, and the family moved back and forth a few times between Calgary and Vancouver. And then in 1968, when I was about 14, my parents decided they were coming back to Montreal. This was around the time when I was, starting to feel my independence, and started hanging around coffee houses in Montreal, and pretty soon, figured out that if you volunteered to work in the coffee houses, you could see the shows for free. And so started doing that by the time I was around 15, 16. And then when I got to CJEP, I was organizing the concert series at Dawson College. And after that, I was invited by the Hillel organization in Montreal, which had a coffee house that had started about a year earlier, asked me to take it over. So I did that off and on for many years and got involved in other kinds of projects along the way. And
you've met a lot of the artists in the folk field, I imagine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who are the big names
that I've met?
Yeah.
I don't know. Bob Dylan is probably the most famous, I guess. Joan Baez, Pete Seeger, Arlo Guthrie, Tom Paxton, Ramblin' Jack Elliott.
Who among those people, or even others, who impressed you? And as a person?
As probably as a person, I don't know, a lot of them. You know, Pete Seeger, you know, certainly as sort of like, you know, like the ethical rock that he is. Baez, down to, you know, I'm kind of almost at a loss to, you know, to answer that, because I want to, you know,
You want to name everybody?
I want to name everybody, and many of them for different reasons and some of the same reasons.
How did you get interested in writing about this?
I kind of thought that I had a talent for it, and when I was a couple of months shy of my 21st birthday, I walked into the Montreal Gazette and took the elevator up to the newsroom and found the entertainment editor and said, I think you should make me a music critic. And he sort of didn't know whether or not to take me seriously, but he took me seriously enough that he gave me an assignment. And he said, if you pull this off, then we'll give you more work. And I pulled it off and became a regular Montreal Gazette music critic, which I did off and on for many, many years, up until even past the time that I was still here in Ottawa, already here in Ottawa.
I understand you have a blog on about folk music.
Yeah, when I kind of stopped working for the Gazette, which was, I guess, around 2008 or 2009, I decided to stay active in it by
What's the name of the blog and the address on the net?
Yeah, the name of the blog is Folk Roots, Folk Branches, which was the name of my radio show in Montreal. So it was kind of a continuation of that, plus a continuation of what I was doing for the Montreal Gazette. And it's at frfb.blogspot.com.
Very interesting. Well, you've had a variegated career, some of it in the Jewish community. I know that you worked at Campanile Brith in Montreal, and you weren't the drama critic or the
No.
the arts and crafts person there. Thank you for all your efforts, and that brings us to the end. Thank you all for being with us.